Have you ever wondered why so many talented, really successful leaders just stop advancing? I mean, you've done everything right, you've climbed the ladder, and then nothing. You hit this invisible wall. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into what's really going on and why the skills that got you here, well, they won't get you there.
So let's set the scene. You're a senior manager, maybe a director, maybe even a VP. And you got there because you were awesome at your job. You solve the hard problems. You deliver the results. You've put in the time. But then it feels like it happens almost overnight. The promotions just dry up. You feel like you're getting passed over for opportunities. And you just can't seem to get the influence you need to make that next leap. It's the super frustrating invisible wall.
So why? Why does this happen? It's definitely not because you're slacking off. You've got this sense that something's missing, but it's so hard to put your finger on what it is. You know you're capable of more, but the path forward just kind of went dark.
And this is the paradox at the heart of it all. The very skills that made you so successful, your technical know-how, your ability to just get things done, they aren't enough anymore. You're still delivering, you're still putting in the hours, but that hard work isn't creating the career momentum it used to. This right here, this is the classic leadership plateau.
But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's your training? The source material for this explainer makes a pretty bold claim, that the real issue is a fundamental flaw in how we usually think about leadership development. Let's break down what that is.
Okay, so this slide really shows the crucial difference. On the left, you've got your traditional development. It's all about what you do, learning new frameworks, new processes, new tactics. But the approach on the right, it focuses on something way deeper, how you show up as a leader. It's a subtle shift for sure, but it is absolutely profound. We're moving from just external actions to your internal presence.
And this slide really nails what those showing up skills are. These are the missing pieces of the puzzle, the human capabilities. We're talking about your ability to really observe what's going on around you, not just react to it. It's about communicating with precision and intention, about building trust as a deliberate practice, managing your own state when you're under pressure, and having that presence even when you don't have all the answers. Let's be honest, most of us were never formally taught any of this.
And here's the kicker. The big claim from our source is this. Mastering these specific human capabilities, well, that's what separates the top 1% of leaders from everybody else. It's not about being a little bit better at the technical stuff. It's about operating on a totally different level of human interaction and self-awareness.
So if the problem is the lack of these human skills, the solution has to be developing them, right? This approach is all about seeing leadership through a new set of lenses, which gives you the power to see your challenges in a completely new way. And the key to this is a tool called a distinction.
All right, so the core tool here is this idea of a distinction. Think of it like putting on a new pair of glasses. A distinction is just a concept, but with a super precise meaning. And once you learn it, it lets you see things in your professional life that were basically invisible to you before. You start noticing these patterns in conversations or in your team's dynamics that you just completely missed.
And this is exactly why distinctions are such a game changer. This isn't just academic theory. The second you can clearly see and name a dynamic, like how trust is being built or maybe even breaking down in a meeting, you suddenly have the ability to do something about it. That awareness gives you power. It gives you leverage.
In all great leadership development, according to this philosophy, it all starts in one place, inside you. Before you can lead a team or an entire organization, you have to master the ability to lead yourself. This is that inner journey that unlocks all of your external impact.
So a core idea for this inner journey is what's called your way of being. Now, this isn't just your personality. It's this dynamic mix of the language you use, the emotions you're carrying, and your physical presence. And that combination, it literally defines what's possible or impossible for you in any given moment as a leader.
This leads to a huge difference in how we learn. So on the left, you see first-order learning. This is what most of us do. A problem comes up and we just try to solve it with brute force. We just try harder, do more of the same. But on the right, that's second-order learning. Instead of just changing what you do, you first change how you see. You actually pause, you observe, and you question your own perspective. And that shift, that opens up a whole new world of more effective actions.
So as we move from the internal stuff to the external world, we run right into the single most important asset any leader has. And I love this quote, "Trustworthiness is the currency of your leadership career. It's not a soft skill, it's the capital you spend to get things done. You build it up slowly with consistent action, and you can lose it all in an instant."
So this whole journey, it can be mapped out in a really clear, logical way. First, you master leading yourself. That's your way of being. Then, from that solid foundation, you learn how to intentionally build trust with other people. Once you have that trust, you're in a position to create real value that others see and appreciate. And finally, that's what allows you to act strategically, to shape the future instead of just reacting to the present.
All right, now we're at the final and, maybe the most important piece of this entire puzzle. None of these ideas mean anything if they just stay in your head as theories. The real work of leadership isn't about what you know, it's about what you do.
This quote, this just gets to the absolute heart of it, doesn't it? You can read every single leadership book on the planet, but understanding a concept doesn't change a thing about how you actually lead. Applying it does. Real development happens through consistent practice, especially when you're under pressure, and it really, really counts. It's all about turning theory into instinct.
So, let's end with this one thought. For years, you focused on mastering the what of your job, the technical skills, the knowledge, getting things done. But to finally break through that plateau, the real question is this. Are you ready to shift your focus and finally master the how? How you observe, how you build trust, and ultimately, how you show up as a leader. Because that is the edge that makes all the difference.